Hello everyone, moin moin, welcome back to the channel. We are on to part 2 of the Meet the Germans road trip, sorry about that. Part 2 of the Meet the Germans road trip. In part 1 we went to northern Germany. There's lots of coastline up there. We went to the two city-states, Hamburg and Bremen. And yeah, learned a little bit about the hospitality, characteristics, and regionalities in that part of Germany. It was pretty interesting. We saw about the tea culture, the beer culture, some of the stuff in Bremen, and just things that people like to do, kind of the vibes, I guess. The vibes. And of course, moin, 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 moin. So excited to get onto southern Germany and see what interesting things we learn about today. This is a beautiful view, by the way. It almost looks fake. I know it's not fake, but I'm saying, like, that's how incredible the view is. Just like the angle of that little collection of buildings in the background looks almost deceivingly at a strange angle. That's incredible. Reminds me of a little bit of Squamish, British Columbia, who actually somebody mentioned in the comments that they had been, I don't know if they had said that they'd been to Squamish. I think they'd been to Squamish, but they didn't hike it. So that there's a big mountain rock face called the Chief near Squamish, which I actually let them know that I have hiked multiple times. All right, let's do it.
Servus! Some of the most
I was going to say that. Servus. I was wondering how you say that. It's like a greeting, right? Servus.
iconic images of Germany belong very much to the south of the country. And that's where we are for the next leg of the Meet the Germans road trip.
Ich liebe Süddeutschland, weil die Leute hier, ähnlich wie die Temperaturen hier oft, einfach warmherzig sind.
Weil es hier guten Wein.
The people are warm-hearted, somewhat like the temperature down here. Well, that's double plus good. And there's good wine here too.
Gibt.
Weil das Essen hier einfach besonders lecker ist.
Gutes Essen, gutes Bier und hier gibt's Berge. Die Landschaft.
Wegen den ganzen Seen und wegen der Natur.
Und Kultur gibt's auch noch.
Germany's southernmost states are Bayern, known in English as Bavaria, and Baden-Württemberg.
Bayern, known in English as Bavaria, okay. And Baden-Württemberg.
They are two of the biggest states, making up nearly a third of Germany's territory and population. Both states have a relatively young population, very low unemployment, and high exports. Manufacturing plays a huge role down here, particularly in areas like electronics, machinery, and cars.
The BMW headquarters, baby.
The Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, and
Pardon me. That was cool. We got a shot of the BMW headquarters. Very cool building.
Southern Germany shares borders with the Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, and France. Here at the Bodensee or Lake Constance, you can just about make out Austria over there, and that way is Switzerland. These two neighbours share plenty of cultural characteristics with southern Germany, such as Alemannic German dialects and all sorts of crossover cuisine. While we're on the topic of food, can you tell the difference between these two pretzels? This one, with consistent thickness all round, is a Brezel from Bavaria.
Brezel from Bavaria, okay. Consistent thickness all around. I really would love a good pretzel right now. I just had breakfast, but it was very boring. Very boring breakfast. Literally just porridge. Porridge. It's been my thing lately. It's economical and I think it's somewhat healthy. Yeah, it's just like oats and it's so easy, you just right? But porridge aside, I would love a pretzel right now.
And this one, with its two skinny arms, is a Brezel from the Swabian part.
That's like when you order a pretzel off Wish. I'm just kidding. But it looks like it has a nutrition deficiency.
Part of Baden-Württemberg.
Just
and
kidding.
This, dear viewers, is a metaphor for how the two southern states have a lot in common, but if you look close enough, you can tell the difference. It's also a metaphor for how Bavaria often steals the limelight. Take traditional dress, for example. There are lots of different types of Tracht or folk clothing all over.
Tracht. I love how she said that. That's somebody mentioned that I had fairly decent intuition when it came to German language and learning languages, and I find language and linguistics really fascinating. And it takes time and practice and exposure to develop like accents, not necessarily accents, but I would say the proficiency to pronounce German words correctly, or any language that you're learning for that matter, because I've been learning Filipino a little bit, and it's the same thing, like getting down the syntax and how the language fits together. And all languages have different syntax and the way that they come together like Lego pieces. Shout out to somebody who brought up that as a metaphor for the German language, that you can piece together phrases, words, and meaning and put them together like Lego blocks to create words. But Tracht
over Germany. But the most famous internationally are Lederhosen
and
the Dirndl, which technically belong to both Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg.
Wenn man jetzt so diese Trachtenumzüge ansieht, da sieht man genau, wo die Leute herkommen. Das macht natürlich schon am Mieder, am Geschnür aus und dann eben die Kopfbedeckung, die Strümpfe, wie lang die Lederhose ist, kurz oder lang und ja, so verschiedene kleine Merkmale.
Jeder Ort, jedes Dorf, jeder Trachtenverein hat seine eigene Tracht. Das variiert wirklich überall von Gebiet zu Gebiet.
Wie fühlt es sich an, ein Dirndl zu tragen?
Ja, einfach wunderbar.
Wunderbar. It's amazing that they can keep these traditions and these iconic cultural traditions and pass them down to generations. It's a cool thing. It's not something that necessarily we have as much in Canada because we're such a, well, at least my family and extended family. We have Icelandic roots. Somebody asked me if I had any German roots. Maybe a little. But yeah, Icelandic and British, Scottish, and so it's but like I said, a little bit of German sprinkled in.
Zu Gebiet.
Wie fühlt es sich an, ein Dirndl zu tragen?
Ja, einfach wunderbar. Ja, wir tragen es
Happy
gerne.
ladies.
Wir tragen es auch in unserer Freizeit, nicht nur bei Arbeit.
Es ist schön, Tracht zu tragen.
And no doubt you've heard of Munich's Oktoberfest,
Willkommen.
the biggest folk festival in the world. It's known locally as Wiesn, and rather
Wiesn.
confusingly, it actually begins in September. Back when it was founded in 1810, it really did begin in October, but it was soon moved forward to make the most of better weather conditions. But did you know that Baden-Württemberg also has its own beer/folk festival that runs from late September to early October? The Cannstatter Volksfest is known locally as Vasen and draws some 4 million people to Stuttgart every year, and it's just 8 years younger than its Bavarian counterpart. Bavaria is the most visited German state by both foreign and domestic tourists. Recognise this place? The fairy tale style Neuschwanstein Castle is
Neuschwanstein Castle. I've seen a lot about it, and apparently it gets, what is it, like 2 million visitors per year? Yeah, let's just continue here.
one of the most popular tourist attractions in Europe, which wasn't quite the original plan. King Ludwig II of Bavaria had no intention of opening his prized project up to the public, but his lavish plans got him deep into debt, and not long after he died, the castle doors were opened in order to help pay the bills. Aside from fairy tale castles, Germany's largest state also has stunning nature, from clear blue lakes
I thought she was going to say it has stunning cows. I mentioned...
fairy tale castles, Germany's largest state also has stunning...
So, is the southern state... I can't remember if she said it was on bordering Austria. So my apologies if I screwed that up. But that is... Look at that mountain in the back. It's pretty amazing to have... You know, a mountain in the back with snow covering it. And then this beautiful, lush, green, grazing land for cows. I guess that's a bull, or is it a cow? A bull. That's a bull, but there's cows. Well, maybe they're all bulls. I don't know. All cows are female. Bulls have horns.
nature, from clear blue lakes to sometimes snow-capped alpine mountains. including Germany's highest peak,
Gondola.
the Zugspitze at 2,962 meters. Being up here, right at the top,
Whoa.
looking down on the rest of Germany, really reminds me of something. Oh yeah, the reputation of Bavarians. They're often seen as a very self-assured bunch who are locally patriotic and quite conservative. This is also one of the most religious and in particular most Catholic states. Bavaria's motto is Mir san mir, which translates to we are who we are. It's used to convey a sense of pride and a will to succeed. Let's get some more vocabulary to help us fit in with the locals.
Grüß Gott.
Servus.
Das sagt man sowohl
Grüß Gott.
Vocabulary to help us fit in with the locals.
Grüß Gott.
Servus.
Das sagt man sowohl zur Begrüßung als Hallo oder auch zur Verabschiedung.
Auf die Frage, ob alles in Ordnung ist, passt schon.
2 Euro steht ein Zwickel.
Hier sagt man ja Krapfen und in Berlin sagt man irgendwie Pfannkuchen zu Krapfen, obwohl Pfannkuchen ist bei uns was komplett anderes.
Obacht, ganz wichtig, auch gerade zur Wiesenzeit in München. Da springen die meisten Touristen auch auf die Seite, wenn man im Radl unterwegs ist.
Vieti, und das heißt Ciao.
Ade.
Ade!
Now it's time for some traditional Bavarian grub.
Ade.
Maybe Schweinsbraten, Semmelknödel. I would order a Weisswurst, but it's already after midday and that's a real no-go. Brotzeit it is. And the perfect accompaniment to any Bavarian meal, beer.
Die traditionellsten Sorten in Bayern, das ist natürlich das Helle und das Weißbier. Das Helle ist aus 100% Gerstenmalz und beim Weißbier oder Weizenbier oder Hefe.
He's a beer sommelier. That's amazing. Like I know, I'm familiar with the word sommelier from like wine people in North America, anyways, that are like experts in wine. But he's obviously an expert in brewing or beer.
Wie es in regionale Unterschiede gibt, es zu bezeichnen, ist immer mindestens 50% Weizenmalz dabei. Und der zweite große Unterschied, das ist dann die Hefe. Die Hefe, die man fürs Helle nimmt, das ist die sogenannte untergärige Hefe. Das ist eigentlich so wie der Fließbandarbeiter. Der macht seinen Job und den macht er gut, aber nicht mehr. Das bedeutet beim Hellen, beim Untergärigen, die Hefe selber macht keine Aromen und das wiederum bedeutet, beim Hellen hat man dann die volle Malz- und Hopfenaromatik. Beim Weißbier ist es so, die obergärige Hefe, das ist eher so wie der Künstler unter den Hefen. Die macht ein bisschen mehr, ein bisschen mehr kreativere Arbeit und dadurch kommen da auch Aromen zutage durch die Gärung. Deswegen hat dann ein Weißbier zum Beispiel ganz klassisch auch so ein Bananen- oder ein Gewürznelkenaroma. Ich trinke jetzt aber mal schnell, weil ich habe echt Durst. Egal, ob man jetzt halt in der bayerischen Stadt oder in der Provinz auf dem Dorf aufwächst. Bierfeste sind ja eigentlich allgegenwärtig. Es ist irgendwo immer eine Brauerei in der Nähe. In der Schule, als ich in der 8. Klasse war, hat man als...
So, obviously I love beer. Beer is amazing. I'm wondering, there's obviously a huge culture of beer and the artisan side of beer and the art of it and the aromatics and the fermentation and all of the different steins and ways that you can drink it. Is alcoholism like an issue at all? Like, I know it's going to be an issue anywhere in the world that there's alcohol. Of course, it's going to be people that are drinking too much. But it's really, I feel like it's become quite an issue in some of the North American communities. I think like almost every country, right, is going to have their issues with alcoholics, people that just cannot control themselves, right? And I would say it's usually more of a problem with hard alcohol would be my supposition. My presupposition would be that, you know, where people are buying like big bottles of concentrated 40% alcohol volume and then they're drinking like the entire bottle and destroying themselves in a matter of years. And so there's a different thing when it comes to a beer culture, but I'm curious if it's like a predominant issue in Germany itself. I'll have to look at the statistics on another video. And I know there was another video I want to try to get to about drinking age and like because somebody said in one video like teenagers can buy beer. I think 16. At 16 you can buy beer, I believe, and you can also drink in public. So you can see like some nice young lads at the park having some beer, and it's all good because they're not going to be troublemakers.
als Klassenausflug Brauereiführung gemacht. Da wird man schon zum Bier, zur Brauerei auch irgendwie das Interesse heranerzogen.
What a great job, eh?
There's one particular area of Bavaria where you should actually avoid calling people Bavarians. Welcome to Franconia, aka Franken.
Ich bin Franke, kein Bayer.
Da habe ich einfach meine Wurzeln und das Fränkische kann ich auch nicht verleugnen.
Es liegt schon mal im Dialekt, im Wesen, in der Sprache, in der Kultur. Es sind zwei verschiedene Sachen.
Wir wollen uns ja ein wenig abheben von München. Bist du aus München?
So für Menschen in unserem Alter spielt das eigentlich nicht so eine große Rolle.
The capital of Franconia is Nuremberg. This medieval city is famous for its beloved Christmas market, gingerbread, its eponymous sausages, and for being the location of the Nuremberg trials.
I was going to
After
say...
World War II, high-ranking Nazis were tried here for war crimes by an international tribunal. This and subsequent trials led to more than 160...
Yeah, I've watched a documentary on this. It's pretty interesting. Obviously a dark period. Also, some of the Nazi officers that made it to the United States and other countries, obviously Argentina is one of the ones that people talk about quite a bit.
Convictions and 36 death sentences,
in Canada,
although not all the executions were carried out. Nuremberg, once the site of huge Nazi propaganda rallies, was seen as a fitting location for leaders of the regime to be brought to justice. Immediately after the war, the southwest of Germany was split into 3 states. They were then bundled together to form the state of Baden-Württemberg in 1952, more for practical economic reasons than any real sense of kinship. These days, a cultural divide is still particularly clear between the regions of Baden and Swabia. Baden is home to Heidelberg, Freiburg, the spa town Baden-Baden, and the world-famous Schwarzwald. Not to mention its namesake cake, the Black Forest Gatto. In the historic region of Swabia, you'll find Tübingen, Stuttgart, the rolling hills of the Schwäbische Alb, and even parts of West Bavaria. The stereotype of the Schwaben is straight-laced, pernickety, and a bit stingy. They're known...
Pernickety? What is pernickety? Pernickety. I don't know that word. I like it.
Bavaria. The stereotype of the Schwaben is straight-laced, pernickety.
Pernickety. What? What does that even mean?
And a bit stingy. They're known for inventing the Kehrwoche, a kind of pushy cleaning rota for shared buildings. And their mission in life is supposedly Schaffe, Schaffe, Häusle baue. Work, work, and build a house. The Badener are often seen as more relaxed and open-minded. Another well-worn phrase is Über Baden lacht die Sonne, über Schwaben lacht die Welt. The sun laughs over Baden, the world laughs at Swabia. The grain of truth in that is that Baden is the warmest region of Germany. That makes it a great spot for vineyards and the most important region in Germany for Spätburgunder or Pinot Noir wines. One place I personally think Swabia has the upper hand is in the kitchen. Swabian specialities are among the most comforting on a German menu. Maultaschen are a kind of ravioli meets dumpling and are sometimes called Herrgottsbescheißele or little god cheaters. Legend has it monks invented these little pasta...
Little god cheaters. That's... interesting. Legend has it that monks invented these pasta parcels.
Herrgottsbescheißele, or little god cheaters. Legend has it monks invented these little pasta parcels as a way of hiding meat from the Almighty when they were supposed to be fasting. But the absolute king of Swabian cuisine has got to be...
Spätzle. Also zum einen Spätzle mit Soße. Dann macht man sie entweder in der Pfanne mit Butter, schwenkt man sie an. Oder wir machen es eben als in Form von Käsespätzle. Ich habe jetzt hier Eier, Mehl, Salz,
Eggs, Flour, Salt, a bit of Nutmeg and pepper.
Wenn der Teig dann Fäden zieht, so wie hier, dann ist eigentlich perfekt. Mit dieser ist ein Spätzlebrett, tue das kurz ins Wasser und vermenge dann den Teig hier dünn auf dem Spätzlebrett. Ja. Heb den kurz ins Wasser und fange dann eben an, die Spätzle zu schaben. Das Tolle an der schwäbischen Küche ist sicherlich, dass wir aus sehr wenig sehr, sehr viel machen können. Von den Reichen lernst du sparen und von den Armen kochen. Wenn die Spätzle dann oben schwimmen, dann sind sie fertig. Ich nehme jetzt hier ein bisschen Brühe. Dann gebe ich eben meine geschabten Spätzle dazu. Käse dazu machen, eine ordentliche Menge. Dann mit ein bisschen Salz, Pfeffer aus der Mühle, Muskat. Und dann machen wir
really familiar with Spätzle.
Sahne dazu. Käsespätzle soll cremig sein, soll schlunzig sein, soll Fäden ziehen ein bisschen.
Is it like, oh,
wait,
right? That's what it's like, sort of like a macaroni and cheese. So he just made his own pasta, I guess, right? It's like it's sort of a fancy luxury mac and cheese.
Before you dash off to the kitchen to rustle up your own Spätzle, let me know what you think of the south of Germany and which places you've yet to tick off your bucket list.
Wow, amazing. So just like the north, it has like its own distinct, it's quite distinct. She's totally right. There's a lot of characteristics that are different in terms of cuisine, the landscapes, and some of the cultural stuff. Some of the, I wouldn't say divides, but differences within even a small regional area. There's like differences in culture and word and verbiage and greetings and goodbyes. Like, so if I said goodbye now, I could say just Ade, Ade, maybe. Ciao, tschüss. Yeah, I want to make some Spätzle. I'd like Spätzle. Or maybe some little god cheaters. That's funny. Like, they made them because they're supposed to be fasting. And that was a way to hide that they were sneaking some meat into the meal. I guess fasting from just meat, because usually fasting is you don't eat anything at all. But yeah, they have the highest peak. I forget the name that she said there, but the highest peak in Germany. It looked quite amazing. Nuremberg. So, like the north, a lot of history, but they don't have the coastlines, so there's less seafood as a staple. And obviously the birthplace or the beginning of Oktoberfest. So very interesting. Yeah, I'll be back for part 3, probably later on today. So hope everybody hangs out. If you want to send me any recommendations, any videos, any articles, anything, there is a form in the description, which you can check out if you like. I am gonna let you go now. Ciao.